We have a massive new update on John Gibson and his health, and this one has Red Wings fans absolutely fired up as Todd McLellan reveals a major update on his status and an update on Dylan Larkin and his health as well. We're going to break both of those things down, as well as multiple other updates with the team as they head into a very crucial stretch of games. And this team is going to have to get it together in the month of March if they want any hope of making this year's playoffs, because the Eastern Conference is absolutely insane. And we're going to break down exactly what that all looks like in this episode of Red Wings Digest. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We've noticed that still 95% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Red Wings, to lineup decisions, injury updates, post-game reactions, and of course, we're going to have some crazy stuff coming down once the playoff starts, hit that subscribe button. If you're over on Facebook, hit that free follow button. And again, you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the team. But Mark, let's get right into it. A major update this morning on John Gibson. Obviously, the last we heard is that he got hit. And, there was a lot of stuff, and I see you guys down in the comments commenting about how the team didn't stand up from all of that. And he's been pretty banged up the last little while. He took a shot, obviously, a couple games ago, missed a game. He got injured in the last game and left the game as well. But he was practicing this morning. Obviously, a huge game coming up tonight as well. We're going to get into that in a preview about that as well. But he was practicing today, and they were doing a bunch of power play work this morning, which is a good sign as well. But, Mark, we have a major update on John Gibson.
And I think the big thing is, listen, John Gibson is starting tonight versus Florida. This is a big game. Looking at the Atlantic Division, it's a tight race. I mean, we're seeing the Buffalo Sabres take that one spot in the Atlantic game after game. It's ever changing. It feels like we don't go one day without someone making a jump or dropping in this. So going into the remainder of not only this week, but a stretch of games that we're going to touch on very soon is must win. A lot of these games, of course, you need to go out. You need to cement this. You need to take these wins. And John Gibson is probably the biggest part of this team. Of course, you have a lot of talent within the organization. Dylan Larkin, the captain, Lucas Raymond, Sider, any of these guys. But Darius, looking at the true MVP, it feels like at this point, John Gibson, the numbers he has put up as of late. Listen, making the jump from Anaheim to Detroit, he struggled a tiny bit to start the season. A lot of people looked at this, but John Gibson is a workhorse. You're getting into a new environment after being, of course, in Anaheim his whole career. But this is a guy that has been the backbone, of course, not only between the pipes, but as a team. This is a team that has struggled at times. I mean, to score goals 5-on-5s is abysmal a lot of the games. But Darius, at the end of the day, it feels like we've got two scares, which is too many with John Gibson at this point of the season. But I think it's going to get crucial. And listen, I want your opinion on this as well. You're going into the stretch of games that you need to win a lot of these. Of course, the game versus Carolina, the top team in the Eastern Conference, it doesn't really affect as much as the Atlantic Division. But then you have the Boston Bruins, the Senators, you're going in versus the Sabres. These are three teams that if you can secure a win against all three, I think you're getting to the point of the season. Once you secure the spot, which you want to do soon, you can almost rest John Gibson a tiny bit so he's not going to be beat up or have these scares going into the playoffs.
You could, but you need confidence in Cam Talbot as well, right? And obviously we talked about, how great the goaltending situation is moving forward, but do, a lot of people have confidence in Cam Talbot? Personally, I think that he's fine. I think that he's okay. Do you want to give John Gibson a rest? I don't know. You're in a crucial stretch of games, not only right now, but definitely like you outlined, like coming up here in a couple of weeks as well, because you're in direct competition with all of these teams, right? You're in direct competition for a playoff spot with the Montreal Canadiens, the Boston Bruins. The Senators are still there. I don't know what that's going to look like by the time we get there in the schedule, obviously, because they're a little bit further down in the standings, as you can see here, in terms of the Atlantic Division. But even the Sabres leading the division now. What is happening, by the way? First time 15 years. Looks like they're going to make the playoffs. But pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, the Red Wings, John Gibson needs to play. He needs to be playing well. And obviously you can try and manage his minutes, but you need to continue to pick up wins. And he's been the backbone, the heartbeat of this team. I mean, without him, he is the definition of a needle mover. Without him, this team would not be where they are. So he's been great, especially the last little while. So I'm excited to see what continues to happen. He's back in the lineup, so I guess he's, close to 100%. They're going to need him at least close, if not 100%, for the playoffs as well. So that's good news heading into a very crucial game here. Now, we also have an update on Dylan Larkin. I want your thoughts on this as well, Mark, because it seems like he's not day to day, and I talked about this yesterday a little bit. It's more that they're taking it day by day. So he could be out a week, he could be out 2 weeks. They're taking it day by day, see how he feels, but he was feeling a little bit better yesterday as well. So that is a good sign, and it looks scary. It looked like something that can end a season. So what are your thoughts on that as well? Because this is the captain of the team. They need him back as well. They are playing all right, and this was a big couple points to pick up a couple days ago as well. But this is, again, such a crucial month and stretch of games coming up here. You have to get as many points as you can, and you're going to need your captain, one of your best players in the lineup as well.
And I think that's the big thing. Listen, Dylan Larkin is by far and away the most important for it. And that's not to hate on anyone within this organization, anyone there. Patty Kane's having an incredible season. Lucas Raymond has looked great. DeBrincat's a goal scorer. There's a lot of guys within this organization, but replacing the captain, of course, a lot of guys are going to step up. They're going to lead with example when someone's out like this. But there's a reason why he wears the C on his chest. Everyone in this organization, fans, everyone respects this guy. So getting him into the lineup, of course, is going to be big. That injury was a total scare. The whole night, just thinking about it after watching the game, watching the clip over and over again, the fact that this is one of the updates that he's feeling better. He's taking it day by day. They're not going to rush him back. The last thing you want to do is put him back into this. And something else happened. But Darius, seeing the updates around this team, John Gibson's fine. We can see that Dylan Larkin is working day by day. And we know David Perron's a guy that's going to finally get back into this lineup in the next stretch of games. And I kind of want to throw this to you too. It's a weird question to kind of put out there, but looking at this team right now, we know there's so much depth at different positions. Justin Falk, an awesome pickup to bring in on that right side, but now there's a big question looking at the guys within the organization. Dylan Larkin, of course, when he comes back, straight into the lineup. Travis Hamonic is Travis Hamonic. He's going to do his thing from time for time, but I think at the end of the day, of course, with Larkin jumping in, rain or shine, of course, Dominic Shine will be out of the lineup at that point. Shout out to him, by the way. The first goal ever in his NHL career after all those AHL games is a storybook game. But at the end of the day, looking at that defensive pairing, it's going to get interesting. There's one guy, and I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this guy's a bust, because he's not. He's phenomenal. He's going to be an incredible defenseman moving forward in the future of this organization. But with Axel Pellikka, I'm looking at this guy as, do we think there's a realm where maybe he heads down to Grand Rapids to work on his game? Once again, an incredible offensive player. Someone that has a huge ceiling in the NHL, but looking at the games over the past couple of seasons, of course, making the jump from the Sweden leagues over to the AHL for a handful of games, the learning curve is hard. And I'm just wondering, do you think the confidence level could get that huge boost if he gets back into the A for a couple of games, or maybe even for a stretch heading into the playoffs?
I think it's actually the opposite, because he's already gotten a taste of almost an entire season of NHL action. Although I will say he needs to be playing. So if he's going to be sitting doing nothing as a 20-year-old, he needs to be playing. And when we head into the playoffs, because they just acquired Justin Falk, you know the way things go in the playoffs, right? Like, coaches love, and Todd McLellan has playoff experience, love experience. They want guys that keep it simple and guys that have been there before. So I do wonder if he's not going to get back in the lineup, like, not ever, I should say. He'll probably see time the rest of the season. But when it comes to the playoffs too, I'd rather this guy be playing. So maybe you do look at sending him down to Grand Rapids Griffins, right? So that'll be interesting to monitor. And again, it's not something we necessarily agree with. It's just something that I think is going to happen. Coaches like more experienced, older players. So we'll see how that plays out. He hasn't had a bad season. He doesn't look out of place or anything like that. This guy's going to be a stud. But for the time being, should he spend some time down in the AHL? And would you send him down to the AHL if he's just not going to be playing in the playoffs? Although I think there could be value in like having him around while that's going on. But at the same time, he's 20 years old. He should probably be playing games. But it's interesting. We'll pose a question to you guys. Let us know how you feel in the comments below. And let us know how you feel about all the updates going on with the Detroit Red Wings. And we also learned that David Perron, very interesting update there as well, that he will be joining the team very soon. So that's going to be something to look out for in terms of adding more players to the lineup. You can see here that Steve Yzerman is very conservative with his estimate for when he'll be back in the lineup or return next. But he said, Thursday on the 19th versus Montreal, and it could be sooner, and maybe Monday against Calgary, which is pretty soon. He should be back in the lineup. So that condition on the pick where he doesn't play at all, that's not happening. He's getting into the lineup at some point. So let us know how you feel about all of that in the comments below. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Detroit Red Wings.